Well, good morning, everyone. While I adjust my screen, how are you? We are doing some Chen style today, and I always think that I've got everything perfectly organized, and then I start the recording and realize, no, it's a mess. So, sorry, let's get this sorted. Okay, so today we're going to have a wee look at a bit of standing practice as well as doing our Lao Jia Ilu. Now, putting this in context, I'm not long home from training with Master Chen Yin Jun, that's Grandmaster Chen Shaowang's son, and one of his sons, and yeah, I'm still kind of processing and unpacking and trying to work with all the corrections and information that he gave us. It was an amazing practice. We were very lucky to have him. What am I seeing now? That's numbing my eyes there. So yes, lots to impart. There's some things that I need to work on myself, but I tend to like to share the feedback with you sooner rather than later, because then more minds can contain the information and we can help each other. So let's take right hand in fist, please. Left hand straight, pull back the thumb, feet together, hands together, and we press forwards. Okay, so we're going to do a little potted warm-up today because I'd like to spend more time on our stand. So let's go into the four corners and keep the structure. So the top of the head floating up, the tail releasing down as we swirl into the four corners. You can feel the structure remains. Excuse me. Good, now we're going to change direction. This is a potted practice. I counted to 15 there. Normally in our 3-hour classes, we've been sort of averaging 30 squares in each direction. With Yin Jun, I noticed it was more like 60. So we're really doing very little, and it takes a while to get into the rhythm of the movement. So we're just dipping a toe in. Good, let's change direction into number 2 of the exercises, which is into the four corners. So it's the same movement in center, but this time we keep the body upright. So as the center moves, the whole body moves with. Good, and change direction. I got a correction on this one. I think my ballet background had interfered with my understanding of the movement, and I was trying to keep my head still. But actually, as Master Chen said, if your center moves, everything moves. So your head will also be tracking round in the same square because you're just keeping your structure. It's amazing how simple warm-ups, you can go for years and yet need corrections. Even the simple stuff, there's a lot to learn. Good. Actually, as I often say, the simple stuff contains everything. You know, all of the everything within Tai Chi is in every part of Tai Chi. It's like the ocean. You can just scoop up a tiny drop of water from the ocean. That drop of water, in effect, contains the essence of the ocean. And in the same way, all of these exercises, though they may be very simple, they contain the essence of Tai Chi. We want to keep our structure, so be careful not to lift the hip, and we want always to think of moving from the center. So think of like a yo-yo. We're sending the movement down through the leg from center. It doesn't mean the center is flailing around. It is the origin of the movement. Good. Change direction. So we're spiraling the other way. Good. Try to keep that hip level. And shake out. And on the other side. You may find, as I do, one side is always easier than the other. Often easier than the other. Good. Change. For me, it's the hips, keeping the hips level. One side is easier than the other. Don't know why. Good. And a wee shake out. All right. Let us widen our stance so we open. Okay, now this exercise, I think of, you know, this ripple-y movement. Actually, that's one of Yin Jun's cousins' exercises for warm-up. You know that sort of like breakdancing move? Yeah, well, it's very similar, but we're doing it in the hips. But instead of going up and down, we're going forwards and back. So if we think of circling one hip or one side and let the other hip relax and follow, you get this little anda thing. So we're not doing a square the way we did in the higher stance. We're actually having a kind of I can't describe it actually. I've struggled to describe this. But it has this kind of knock-on effect. It has sometimes been described as a figure of 8. But when we try to draw a figure of 8, that changes it. So just think of the circle down one leg and notice how it affects the other leg. Now change, please. So now the other leg, the hip, is doing a little circle, and that creates this little forward, forward, back, back thing. I would say just don't think about it, just do it and see what happens. Think of circling one hip out, forwards, in and back, and notice how it has a kind of ripple effect across the hip. Good. Oh, well done. Up you come. Ooh, give your legs a wee shake out. Now we have our leg stretch. Okay, so again, if you're working with injury, you have to just go to your comfortable level. Interestingly, one of the ladies who came over from Germany in our training there was saying that Grandmaster Chen at one stage had given an alternative for a sort of beginner's leg stretch. So he was saying that if you couldn't completely straighten the knee and push the knee back, you could actually have the knee slightly bent, and then you were pressing into the leg and feeling down into the center of the foot, the bubbling well, the Yongquan point. And then as you progressed, you could steadily start to bring the leg back. So eventually you're aiming to stretch the knee gently and keep it straight. So that's an option. I thought that was very interesting to hear that. Yinjun didn't mention that, we just did what he did. But if there is an issue with the knee, for example, if you're waiting for a knee replacement and if the stretch on the back of the leg is an issue for you, then of course you have to do something else. We do not want to exacerbate injury as we do Tai Chi. We want to actually aid our body. It's all about bringing about health. So do what you can, please. You can do the alternative version where you keep the knee slightly bent, and as you press into the leg, feel down into the very centre. If you don't mind me showing you the sole of my foot, feeling into the centre there. You could call it the metatarsal arch. If I come a wee bit closer, yeah, so there's the sole of my foot, and can you see where I'm pointing? That's the metatarsal, the metatarsal arch. So you'd be pressing into the knee, or above the knee, but the weight would go down and you're feeling for the connection with the earth. So that's your alternative leg stretch. But let's see what we can do. We kick it out, we step it down, and you can do forwards and back a few times just to, again, limber and warm the muscles a wee bit more. If you're in a warm room, you might not feel the need for a lot of limbering, but I would always encourage it anyway, just to be safe. And then let's feed the weight back, bend the back leg, slide the hand down to just above the knee, encourage the leg back, or leg straight as best you can without pain. Keep the body straight and relax gently down. Good, and you're pressing into the leg to encourage the leg straight. Again, if that's not possible, or if it doesn't feel safe, you can allow the knee to bend slightly, and then the pressure you want to feel travelling down the leg and into the centre of the foot. Keep breathing. Good, release, pull the toes back and take hold if you can, and continue. So the other hand, the opposite hand, is continuing to help encourage that knee back. Good, relax the foot down and up you come, easing from the stance. So anything that's coming from the Grandmaster's lips, we can take as golden. We can observe that. And though often it's when in Rome, do as the Romans do, we're following Yinjun's teaching, but he defers to his father. So if he says you can do something, I can do that. That's no problem at all. On the other side, please, we kick it out, we step it down, and let's go forwards and back. Now, Yinjun said to me something interesting and makes total sense, and I would have agreed with and done anyway. He said, when you're studying something, especially Tai Chi, you find the best teacher you can and you pay attention to what they say. And he was referring to people in China. So many people in China study Tai Chi. You're best to find the best teacher that you can. So again, hand bracing the knee, lengthen the spine, encourage the knee towards straight, and hinging from the hips, press a little down. Good, release, pull the toes back, take hold. Again, encourage the knee straight. Good, and foot down, up you come. So no matter where you go, there's always going to be people who are teaching who maybe aren't teaching at the highest level. I'm guessing for the majority of them it's that they don't know any better, that they haven't had the best teachers themselves. So it's not a character assassination, but we have to seek out the best knowledge that we can, the best and clearest guidance. because otherwise we can be putting a lot of work and effort in and still not attain any great level of training. And worse than that, potentially, if we weren't receiving the best tuition or good tuition, we could actually damage ourselves, we could injure ourselves. Just think of going to the gym and working equipment and having a trainer who has not completed their training or having done any training and telling you how to use machines. Even if they're saying it with great confidence, actually it may not be safe at all. They might not give you the best information. And so, as I say, with China, people are obsessed with Tai Chi. There are a lot of folks out there who have not had the opportunity to have good teachers or have just taught themselves. And so the standard is not the best, and they might actually injure themselves. So the same is true across the world. So we just have to find the best teachers that we can. And luckily, I'm being so lucky to have come across Grandmaster Chen and Chen Yinjun, who are flag bearers. Well, Grandmaster Chen is a flag bearer. He's the top of his lineage, and this is the original Tai Chi lineage, Chen style. So it's incredible. Just someone in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, can seek out that degree of training. So we've been very, very lucky. All right, next exercise, we open our stance. We sit back down and we do a little turning of the waist. We can chop at the liver here and pat the kidneys at the back. Good, and let's come up. Again, you could do 60 of those. You can work on the size of your stance, the depth of your stance to taste. This version, move center, relax your arms, moving like water. Feel into the hands, listen. Oh, isn't that lovely? Good, and let's come back to center. Okay, so we'll just do maybe a 10-minute stand, and that'll still give us time to go through the whole form. So make yourself comfortable if you want a wee drink, or if you need to do any adjustments, now is your chance. And yeah, let's have a look at our stand. So bringing the feet together, please. Floating up through the top of the head, chin down and back. Lengthen the fingers down. Calm down. Start, we release, belly, hips and knees, fill right, empty left, and step open. Transfer the weight and now have a jolly good check that your feet are indeed shoulder width and level. Feet directly underneath the shoulders. Then check posture again, floating the top of the head up, the chin slightly down and back. Feel into the fingers. Release through the body. Let's float the hands away from the body, bring them forwards, feel for connection, and slowly bring the hands up. Good, so as if you're holding a cushion about level with your solar plexus. Feel, listen, and let go. I'd like to give you one little thought to work on as we stand quietly, and that's the crease of your legs. Feel the crease between your body and your legs. I want you to focus on releasing and relaxing through that crease. So you may notice your legs rolling in ever so slightly, or even quite a lot. It might feel that you're knock-kneed. But Yinjin was explaining that actually this is far better than to let the knees roll out. We want this crease either side to be very relaxed, and that allows the energy to flow more freely between the body and the legs. So every so often just check in with that crease and really release into it. Relax the belly down, relax the back to hang down, release through that crease of the legs to relax into the legs and into the feet. Very good. Gently lowering your arms down. And cover center. Well done. Now that's half of what we would normally consider a short stand. Short stand about 20 minutes. So that was a micro stand. What I'd like you to focus on as you stand is to listen, feel, and let go of tension. Notice if any tension builds up. Often for me, if I am feeling tension build, it's around the backside, the glutes. And that is often a result of that crease becoming tense and the knees rolling out like so. So as I say, Yunjin is talking about how we release and keep releasing through that crease. And you'll notice that if that area is released, the glutes are less likely to tense. So any areas tensing as we do our stand, though it's part of the process that we have to go through these experiences, it is not what we are looking for in our stand. So feel the tension, experience it, listen to it, breathe into it, let go of it. Keep letting go of the tension in your stance, and that is part of the practice, to listen, feel, and let go. Now we just gently rub the tummy. Yunjin in the last few years has talked about how it doesn't matter what direction we go in, though traditionally we would go to the right, up the right side, across and down to the left first. But you'll see Master Chen here. I call him Yunjin sometimes, Master Chen sometimes. I'm talking about the same person. He is actually doing it in the other direction first. So he is practicing what he preaches. He says it doesn't matter what direction we go in first, which is another thing not to worry about then. That's great. Just make sure you do the same or roughly the same numbers of rotation in each direction. So the longer you stand, the more rotations you do. We go back to center and breathe and feel. Good, release gently down, fill your right foot and close left. Excellent, well done, recover and a heel tap. Good stuff. So if you were in a live class face-to-face with me, or indeed with Yunjin, we would have the opportunity to come around and physically adjust you in your stance. And that is very, very useful. It can progress your experience by years, just in a couple of seconds being given the corrections. Over the screen, I don't have that luxury that I can reach in and adjust you. But there are things you can use the screen for or a mirror for. And when I was standing, I had my eyes closed. I wasn't staring at the screen. But you could use the screen to check your head is straight, your shoulders are level, your hips are level. Also, you could use a mirror to your side, so you're in your stance, and just you can turn your head and just check, am I upright or am I leaning forwards or am I leaning back? Leaning is not what we want. We want an upright posture, and we want the head as up as possible with the chin slightly down and back. So you are looking for a reduced curve in the neck. So if you're standing like this, that's an issue. We want to really become the puppet on a string and feel the weight of the body hanging down. Someone asked me in class yesterday, how do I do that? How do I make sure I'm straight? Well, it's a good question. What you could do is use a door. So bring your heels a little bit away from the door, because we do have curves that go beyond our center line. So bring your heels a wee bit forwards from the door. Maybe use a wardrobe door, something that no one will open on you while you're practicing. And then literally just fill back against the door so that your bottom, your back is touching the door, and that will give you a straight line. And then you can just gently step away from the door and see if you can continue that straight line. So there are ways and means of doing it, of helping yourself, but actually most important is that you do it. You try to do it and you listen, feel and let go. Good. So now we have time for once through Lao Jia Yi Lu. Standing practice should be this lovely tranquil time with no talking, but trying to get the information across. And like this, sorry. Okay, let's begin our Lao Jia Yi Lu. Feet together, we lengthen up, and relax down, calm down, listen behind. Ready, start. Keep your structure. Move from center. All the movements are driven from the center, turning. Keep going. High calf on horse. Relax to center. And kicking section, we gather to the right, circle down to the left. Left side steps across. Prepare, sink down, hands up and kick. Step, twist, prepare, kick. Step behind, gather left, turn palms, pull back toes, kick left. 3 steps. Prepare for planting flowers. Feeding back. Right side comes around, left side up and over. Relax to center. And protect the heart. Turning to face the back, step left, gather right, lift, kick right, toy soldier position, quarter turn, 3-way punch. Prepare. Part 3. Sorry, can we do that again, please? From the punch. The left hand, just release it and fill down. I was doing a twiddly bit that should not be there, sorry. From the punch and release. Much easier. Turn and step. Sorry, a little bit smaller. Relax to center and high pat on horse. Relax to center. End game. So we do our little spiral and turn. Punching down. Kick the back foot, and for the purposes of this screen class we're going to do an extra turn. So we pull the right shoulder back and continue. Very good. And we finished on time. Isn't that amazing? Excuse me while I blow my nose. Sometimes when you punch, there's so much sort of effort involved. The fudging is like an explosion, it's like a sneeze. And sometimes it makes you need to blow your nose afterwards. So I think you did very well, folks. As you can see, we're all students of Tai Chi. Once you get to master level, so you basically devote your life to doing nothing but Tai Chi. And that takes maybe the guts of 50 years to get to that level if you're doing it every day, all day, nothing but Tai Chi. Then there is very little left to work on, but there's still stuff to work on. You know, the Grandmaster still works on stuff for the sheer joy of it, but it is like polishing a well-polished diamond. Yin Jun is still working on stuff, but he says, yeah, my training's pretty much done. Fair enough. He is, you know, he's doing a good 8 hours a day at least. So yeah, but the likes of myself, most teachers are still very much students of Tai Chi. And so we bring our students along with us on the journey. At least that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to progress, and I'm trying to help bring you along with me. So you'll see that things change, especially after training with a master. You'll see little stances like I was doing a very stretched out white crane. I'm now here because that was my correction. That was where I was given. So it's smaller. In general, you'll find that Yin Jun over recent years has made everything smaller. All of his moves seem to be much more compact, whereas we might have been doing, you know, bigger, more flowery movements. I did ask him about that. I said, look, you know, am I doing this too big? You seem to be going a lot smaller. He actually said, look, it doesn't matter what size. The size is not important. It's what you do with it that counts. So it's more about keeping structure and moving from center. So that was my correction when I said, look, you're going bigger than I am, I'm going smaller. Sorry, other way around, you're going smaller. And he says, look, don't worry about the size, but move from center. Get your center doing the work. You're not wafting your arms around. And that made a huge difference. It really helped me. So a lot of the corrections, in fact, nearly everything that we got over those 4 days intensive training was all referring back to the absolute basic principles of keep structure and move from center. And the easiest way to keep your structure is to really pay attention to standing practice and do the standing practice. Because if we relax in the best posture possible for a long time, it's like setting that jelly in the mold. And then when we go to move, we have more chance of actually keeping the good posture rather than going into all sorts of bad habits and disjointedly moving parts of our body. So I hope you enjoyed that class today, folks. Thank you so much for coming and giving it a go. We only did 10 minutes stand, but it was something. I encourage you to do another 10 minutes now if you have time or through your day. Keep doing a little bit of standing. Even a little bit and often is better than none at all, and then doing an hour once a week. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you can. I'm actually trying really hard to get out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning and doing my warm-up and doing my stands so that I know it's done. And actually I feel a huge difference. I've been doing that since our 4 days training. Every day we've been doing warm-up and stand, Willem and myself. And I don't know about him, but I feel a huge difference already. Just think what level I could get to if I kept it up until this time next year when Yin Jun comes, fingers crossed. I think he could actually look at me and go, haha, I see improvement. So you can do it too. It is not anything to do with talent. It is not a born-in ability. It is just a little bit of commitment and discipline, and you too will move mountains within yourself. You'll feel your health improve. You'll feel yourself really strong and able to fight infections and just generally be well. So let's finish. Let's take right hand in fist, please. Left hand straight and pull back that thumb. Feet together, hands together. 学上好. And you can say 老师好. And keep practicing. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.